Before the mailbox, receiving mail required coordination. Letters were handed over in person, left with clerks, or collected from central locations. This worked when correspondence was rare and slow, but it relied heavily on timing. Someone had to be present, someone had to remember, someone had to wait. As postal systems expanded and literacy increased, mail stopped being an occasional event and became part of everyday life. Letters, bills, notices, and packages began arriving with regularity. The old methods of delivery, face-to-face exchanges or shared pickup points, introduced friction that no longer made sense. Information was moving faster, but access to it was still gated by physical presence. The mailbox exists because that mismatch became unsustainable. Early attempts to solve the problem were simple. Mail slots were cut into doors, letters were tucked into cracks or hung on hooks. Shared boxes were installed in apartment buildings or town centers. These solutions removed the need for direct handoff, but they introduced new issues. Mail could be damaged by weather, it could be taken easily, and most importantly, recipients had no clear signal that something had arrived. The problem wasn't just storage, it was trust. Mail carries private information. It can represent obligation, opportunity, or urgency. Leaving it exposed undermines its value. So any solution had to protect mail while remaining accessible to people who didn't belong to the household. That requirement alone introduces a difficult design constraint. How do you allow strangers to deposit something without allowing them to take something? The mailbox's familiar container and lid design answers that question through asymmetry. It's easy to put mail in and harder to take it out. The opening is shaped to accept envelopes and small parcels, but retrieving contents usually requires lifting a lid or opening a door, actions that are more visible and deliberate. This doesn't make theft impossible, but it raises the social and physical cost just enough to discourage casual interference. Weather adds another constraint. Mail is paper. Paper degrades quickly when exposed to water, wind, and sun. The mailbox had to shield contents without requiring careful placement by the delivery person. A curved or slanted top helps shed rain and snow. A raised body keeps contents away from puddles. Even the decision to mount mailboxes at a certain height reflects this concern. Placement matters just as much as form. The mailbox sits at the boundary between public and private space. It's close enough for a delivery worker to reach without trespassing, but far enough from the street to signal ownership. This boundary placement is not accidental. It allows communication to cross into private life without requiring physical entry. Standardization plays a quieter role. Postal systems depend on efficiency. Delivery routes assume consistency in where mail can be deposited. A recognizable mailbox shape reduces hesitation. The delivery person doesn't need instructions. The object communicates its function visually. This is where human behavior becomes central. The mailbox doesn't require explanation. Children understand it. Visitors recognize it. Carriers rely on it. It becomes part of a shared language between strangers who never meet. Over time, the mailbox also reshaped expectations. People began to check for mail habitually. The act of walking to the mailbox became a daily ritual. This behavior only works because the object is reliable. You don't worry about whether mail will arrive or where it will be left. You simply assume the system will work. This assumption is the mailbox's aha moment. It allows communication to be asynchronous without anxiety. You don't have to wait by the door. You don't have to coordinate schedules. You don't have to wonder if you missed something. The mailbox absorbs uncertainty and releases it on your terms. Attempts to replace or improve the mailbox have existed. Locking boxes, digital notifications, centralized package rooms. Each adds complexity. Some improve security. Others improve convenience. But none have replaced the basic form because they introduce trade-offs the original already balanced well. Lock slow delivery. Shared rooms reduce privacy. Notifications require infrastructure. The classic mailbox persists because it works within minimal assumptions. It doesn't rely on electricity. It doesn't need maintenance beyond emptiness. It doesn't ask users to change behavior significantly. It adapts to them instead. This adaptability allowed the mailbox to survive massive changes in communication. Telephones arrived, email emerged, text messages replaced letters for many purposes. Yet physical mail didn't disappear. It shifted, packages increased, official documents remained physical. The mailbox expanded in capacity, but not in concept. That stability is a sign of design maturity. When an object remains useful across technological eras, it's usually because it solves a human problem rather than a technical one. The mailbox solves the problem of delayed connection. It makes waiting manageable. And like many successful designs, it fades into the background. People notice when the mailbox is missing, damaged, or full, but rarely when it works. It becomes part of the environment, not the experience. Good design doesn't announce itself. It quietly absorbs friction so daily life can proceed uninterrupted. The mailbox still exists in its current form because it aligns with how people send, receive, wait, and trust without demanding attention. That invisibility isn't accidental. It's the result of a design that understood human behavior well enough to disappear.